Ah, good evening, Mayor Mueller. Welcome. Sorry about the confusion on the link. I'm glad you could get here.
Good evening. Yeah, sorry, that was on my end. I didn't realize what link I was supposed to be using. So,
I've been there.
well, we got everyone. Are we ready to start? Or
I think so.
all right. Well, thank you all for joining tonight. And this is an exciting project for me and something that combines a number of priorities that I had been thinking about even before deciding to run for mayor. So when I was over in community investment, so trying to address food insecurity and food deserts that exist, as well as finding ways to revitalize the Linden Avenue corridor have been in my mind for a number of years, and I'm glad the team has been working to move those forward. And special thanks to I forget which it is now. Is it engagement and economic empowerment, or economic empowerment and engagement? The first one?
The first one.
Engagement first.
Okay. Well, I think that whole team and the new members who have joined since I left to run for mayor, Marty Mechtenberg and Dominique Edwards. But Alkina's been there the whole time, and sounds like been carrying forth the vision, and look forward to getting some feedback from all of you about how we can move forward with this exciting vision here. And with that, I'll turn it over to Alkina.
Thank you so much, Mayor Mueller. You're right in the sense that this has been a long time coming for our team that we've been working on it. I think it was 2018 that Antonius was engagement specialist, and we knocked some 800 or so doors to understand what folks in four different target zones or farms, as we were referring to at that time, what some of their priorities were for the neighborhood. And amongst those, the things that immediately came to the top of the list were access to grocery, and also access to neighborhood centers, which includes small businesses with a particular interest in minority-owned small businesses. So the greenhouse, along with our incremental development work, and we've been really intentional about engaging minority actors in that work. And Antonius, I want to give you some time as well to talk about how DNI intends to partner with us in making this project a demonstration for minority contractors as well. But we're trying to hit all the targets that we heard from the neighborhood in the sense of amenities and small business resources, and just all the access pieces that folks mentioned that they need through the greenhouse, which also represents a lower level sort of incremental development project. So in there. And Antonius, if you just want to jump in and talk about it, because you've been here from the very beginning, knocking doors in December.
Those are some of the those are bonding times with the engagement team, and it's incredible to have the new engagement team also a little bit restrained by COVID, but just as intentional and ready to get out here and serve. With my new role as inclusive project manager for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, I get the opportunity and had the opportunity to help out the engagement and economic empowerment team, or as everybody who loves them calls them, the E3 team. We got an opportunity to, yeah. Well, we got an opportunity to pull down a greenhouse and to bring on some minority contractors. This part of the business is so important because what we're doing is that we're proving out capacity, and that's key in every operation of inclusion, right? There's this unknown aspect of how well can minority business, how well can women-owned business and other protected classes be able to take on the challenges of the day and really help to meet some of the commercial demand. In addition to that, it's really about tapping into that upside, right? You can do residential work, but it doesn't have the same upside and it doesn't have the same employment opportunities that that residential work does. So it's our hope over at the Office of Diversity and Inclusion that we are going to be participants in helping business owners to become to grow their capacity and to be responsive to the needs of their community. At present, we have just recently launched the Business Assistant Suite, which is all about helping business owners to join the formal business economy. But in addition to that is the comprehensive business assistance. And that's where we really get in there and really start to work with our minority contractors, very much so in the vein that we did as we pulled down that greenhouse that was donated to us by Potawatomi Zoo. It's about what we were doing then, right? We connected with one contractor, but we were prepared to bring on 3 different contractors and help them to kind of forge an alliance or to work together. Many of the restraints or limitations that are placed on the minority labor community exist because of a lack of organization. One of the things that you can see on any commercial building site is minority workers, minority craftsmen. They're always visible. They're always there, making it happen. The struggle is that they don't yet have the business there to kind of bring all of their resources together and to really create those minority-owned businesses that can then also spur into new economic and employment opportunities for minority community members. As we deal with the issues of the day, not just COVID, but also dealing with racial discrimination, this is one of these prime opportunities where we can take the things that the city is already doing and use that to create a catalytic change in the minority community. And so I'm just very, very happy to be a part of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and extremely appreciative of my opportunities with the Engagement and Economic Empowerment team to kind of just connect with those residents and now work with Mayor Mueller, Alkina, Marty, Mike, and the whole team to bring what we heard from residents into their communities. And like Alkina said the last time that we talked, to really make that Linden Avenue corridor a field of dreams, a place where residents can work and know that their labor can then turn into a future that they've designed for themselves. So what we're going to do is that we're going to enhance this business assistance suite. We're going to bring out this comprehensive business assistance program, and we're going to help the minority contractors or the women-owned contractors to help erect a greenhouse on Linden Avenue, the former hub of minority business in our community. So I'm really proud to be a part of this project, and I thank you for the opportunity to share with your team and the folks who are listening.
Thank you, Antonius. I think that was fantastic. I think we can scoot right into Dominique, who is our new engagement specialist and also happens to be an expert in public participation and is an urban farmer. I really haven't found like a thing that she can't do yet. So I'm really excited. I think many of you on the call have had the opportunity to meet her, but she's taken something that was a sort of serendipitous donation and many things that we'd been trying to figure out for the neighborhood really to the next level. And again, this is our first night really to listen, make sure that we heard the right thing, and that as we move forward on this project, that we're really implementing this in the community's vision, and also that we can all be a part of how this thing is sustained and operated in the future. So that would be the biggest piece. Dominique, you're up, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Alex, can you go ahead and put the presentation up for me, please? Yes, so again, let me introduce myself. My name is Dominique Edwards, and I'm the new engagement specialist with the City of South Bend on the 3E team. Since beginning with the city, I have been overseeing the Linden Avenue Greenhouse Project. As Alkina stated, I am an expert in local and regional food systems. I have worked in various different cities working to implement and manage community food projects, and my research focuses on the revitalization of post-industrial cities with urban agriculture. With my research, I created a spatial analysis utilizing geographic information systems to observe the built environment in regards to food access and how to implement and improve upon the existing conditions of neighborhoods struggling with healthy food access. I have implemented this model in cities such as Gary and East Chicago, and working on this analysis actually here in South Bend. I presented my findings to a multitude of audiences over the years, from our state legislators here in Indiana to academics at Harvard University. I also manage a community garden in my own neighborhood where I've implemented local programs around education, food rescue, free farmers markets, and more. So this evening, I will be taking you into a deeper dive around the Linden Avenue Greenhouse Project and its importance to the Kennedy Park neighborhood. And again, I thank Director Aldridge and Antonius for providing us with a brief overview of this project. Next slide, please. So let's go ahead and get started. So tonight might be the first time you might hear a lot of these terms such as food insecurity, food apartheid, food deserts, and more. So here's a slide on key terms to know and get familiarized with as we continue this discussion. Also in tonight's meeting packet, we provided you with these terms as well. It's really important to know terms such as food desert and food apartheid and how to distinguish between those terms. We will discuss those in more detail on the next slide. But for example, a food desert by the USDA definition as it pertains to an urban area is that residents that live a mile or more away from a grocery store are considered to live in a food desert. And then over the last few years, the USDA has kind of cracked down a little bit more on this particular definition, and they're starting to actually implement population size into this as well. So a particular census tract or a neighborhood that has 500 or more residents that live a mile or more away in an urban area, they live a mile or more away from a grocery store in an urban area, are considered to live in a food desert. But as we are getting into things such as food apartheid is a social construct that devalues human beings, and it assumes that people are unworthy of having access to fresh food. Food apartheid also encompasses everything from social, environmental, economic, political lines, and more. It also encapsulates everything that we as a community and society go through from day to day. Next slide, please. So we must be very mindful and intentional about our language, especially in regard to food deserts and food apartheid. For example, cities such as Baltimore have gone a step further and changed their language to healthy food priority areas. Food deserts are not naturally occurring. They aren't a naturally occurring phenomenon. It implies that areas that don't have access to fresh food, that the food or source has just naturally dried up. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, which is why those of us in food systems work utilize the term food apartheid. Food apartheid is policy and design driven, especially in systematically excluded communities that have been subjected to redlining, segregation, and spatial isolation. Next slide, please. So what is the importance of food hubs to local food systems? Next slide. Communities have the ability to organize food hubs around projects like the Linden Avenue Greenhouse and build upon them and anchor their local food system. These types of projects that end up being beacons in the community have wider access to markets for small to mid-sized producers and increase healthy food access in systematically excluded communities. Food hubs are multifunctional. They give rise to community wealth building. They have economic benefits. They serve as an overall support system where we see things such as outreach and advocacy happening alongside food cultivation, processing, distribution, and more. Next slide, please. So in regards to St. Joseph County, there actually is such a thing that is called a food insecurity rate. As it pertains to St. Joe County, there is such a, currently St. Joe County has a food insecurity rate of 13.4%, which means that 13 0.4% of the population, or nearly 36,000 residents, do not have access to fresh, healthy food. Although Indiana is the 10th largest farm state, next slide, please, is the 10th largest farm state in the US, over 50% of the state of Indiana lives under food apartheid. 90% of the food that Hoosiers eat is actually sourced outside of the state, and 98% of fruits and vegetables are actually imported into the state. Next slide, please. So far, do we have any questions on any of this material?
Dominique, hi, good evening. Aaron Perry here. Thank you so far for this presentation. It's been informative, and you seem like the perfect fit for this. So Alkina, kudos for bringing Dominique to the equation. One quick question, just as you were going through those stats, in St. Joseph County, you mentioned the 13% food insecurity rate. Do you have any idea how much of that is in South Bend, and where in South Bend that might be?
We're working to actually analyze that and drill that down to South Bend. These statistics are taken from feedingamerica.com.
I have a hunch it lines up with the property in the area you're looking at, though, I'm guessing. So thank you.
But of course, thank you. Are there any more questions so far? Okay, so what is food security, and what does a sustainable food system actually look like? So food security means that all people at all times have physical and economic access to adequate amounts of nutritious, safe, and culturally appropriate foods that are produced in an environmentally sustainable and socially just manner. This also means that people can have the ability to make informed decisions about their food choices. So a sustainable food system focuses on social equity and human health, environmental health, and economic vitality. So, and this also ties back into the importance of a food hub, where we still have the ability to see and control how food is processed, distributed, and even marketed down to the local level. Next slide, please. Next slide. So the area that the greenhouse will be located in would be at the corner of Linden Avenue and Birdsell Street, and would share a field space with the MLK Center. So as you can see from this slide, there are other points of interest as well, such as, of course, the MLK Center itself, a possible education and performance venue being developed, and our Kennedy Park Neighborhood Association that is located also within this urban corridor. The ultimate goal is to add value to the neighborhood through the development of this project and work to revitalize the corridor as a whole. Next slide, please. Also, we wouldn't be, again, as stated previously, we wouldn't be building a new greenhouse. We would be reconstructing an old greenhouse that we obtained from the Potawatomi Zoo. Not only would this give rise to the development of an environmentally sustainable food hub, but by obtaining the old greenhouse from the zoo, we were able to keep old building materials from going into a landfill and putting them to use in a very positive way. Next slide. Thank you. So as you have also seen in your meeting packet, we have an infographic that we created for your review, but I wanted to make sure to point this out again. If you haven't seen this information, or if you have any questions on this material, please let us know. A few things I want to point out is that we have identified a few draft strategies for this project, such as, of course, improving healthy food access, developing a neighborhood food hub, increasing sustainable economic opportunities for residents, and more. These draft strategies provide us with a guiding framework throughout the planning process and sets high-level priorities to enhance the viability of this project from success to completion. Other elements of this document and project overall would include the importance of this to the neighborhood and cost. Currently, as we develop this project and engage community partners and residents such as yourselves, we are also working to obtain grants on the federal level to pull down to support this project. Next slide. So where are we? And where are we going from this point? This is our engagement timeline currently, and this is where we are currently. So where we are engaging you, our community partners, in a preliminary conversation in regard to this project. So basically, you'll be hearing from us pretty much all year. Next slide, please. So there are many reasons to support this project. And so what are they? Well, for one, this project increases access to fresh, healthy, affordable food. This allows residents to have more informed decisions around their food choices and have better and healthier options on a local level. It also decreases food miles and environmental degradation. Currently, as I stated previously, 90% of the food that Hoosiers eat is imported. And on average, it takes about 2,000 miles for food to reach our plates. It facilitates community development and sustainable land use. This project gives residents the opportunity to take collective action, become empowered, and engaged around a single issue. It also improves upon existing conditions in the neighborhood. Lastly, it has the ability to increase quality of life. Through this project, there are a number of benefits that healthy food access and education around food access brings to neighborhoods. Next slide, please. So thank you for your time and your attention and listening to this first part of our presentation this evening. Again, if you have any questions in regard to this presentation, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly. And here is my information. So I'll give a few minutes as we're a little bit early to answer any of your questions at this time. Okay, well, we'll go to the next part of our event, which is our breakout rooms. So now we'll go ahead and get into our breakout rooms with our facilitators to discuss this project further. I'm hoping that we have provided you with enough preliminary information. Again, please ask tons of questions. We'll be asking you questions, and we're hoping to get your input and your feedback on this. Again, we greatly appreciate your input and feedback, and our facilitators will be asking your groups a few questions, and we will come back to the larger group later on for a brief discussion before ending our event. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Heaven, can you add those benefits that we got Ms. Stanley cut off on at the end there, which that they have gardening tools for the youth. So in the sense of benefits that they can bring to the project. Thanks, Heaven. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Are we back?
We're back.
We are back.
Hey, we're back. Thank you, everyone, for hanging in there and having some really great conversations. How is everybody's breakout rooms?
Good.
Some great conversations. I think we're having some great conversations this evening.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great time in our room. Really great ideas. Smart people.
Had too much fun.
Great. So I get to pick on you, Marty, and you get to talk about what you guys discussed in your room.
Sure. I don't have any notes in front of me, and I didn't take notes while I was there because somebody else was taking notes. But
can we project or can we share the notes from that room?
I don't know if Courtney can do that.
Uh-oh.
We had three really critical people. Viola Sims, who's the president of the Kennedy Park Neighborhood Association, was in our room, and Becky Lease, am I saying it right? Becky Lease from the Purdue Extension, and I don't have it.
Patty Willett was also in your group, I believe.
Yes, there we go. Thank you, Patty.
Beacon Health Systems.
I was like, Becky, Patty. I'm like, it's not. Yeah, Patty was awesome. So Becky and Patty, and of course Viola knows the neighborhood like nobody else. And Becky and Patty have a ton of experience supporting projects with around food insecurity. So the three of them together really made for a powerful team for us to listen to. I think, I mean, in general, if we do it right, I think I got the impression that everybody felt like this could be a real benefit to the community. There, you know, the relationship with the King Center, both the youth at the King Center and the seniors at the King Center, you know, it dovetails with a need that has been pre-identified by the neighborhood itself, and a critical component of food insecurity, which is sort of a nationally recognized problem and very, very specifically present in this part of South Bend. So we got good ideas, and Angela Rose had good ideas about where to source seeds from, how to engage youth with recipes and spices, and using the project as a catalyst to encourage kind of a chain reaction or some knock-on effects. I think, Patty, that was, you know, you mentioned that, you know, could the greenhouse increase activity at the King Center, activity at the baseball field? How does it relate to the local gas stations who want to have SNAP on their, Patty, you can maybe say it, I'm saying that wrong, but who want to have SNAP benefits available, but who need to be able to prove to the program that they're also providing the kinds of fresh produce that would allow them to qualify. I can stop talking. I don't know, Patty or Becky or Viola, if you want to say anything about our conversation.
No, I back up everything that you said there, Marty. Really good. I mean, you know, we talked about, you know, because this whole project started, you know, from the community feedback, you know, that it's really from the community. So you guys have already felt the engagement from the community on this and the need from the community. So that's so very important. And obviously a very important need, you know, not only here, as you guys have mentioned earlier, you know, a need everywhere, and having it really be just appropriate for that neighborhood. You know, there isn't one size fits all, you know, on many programs, and this one as well, you know, so that it fits in with the community and serves the goals that the community sees as needs and serves the community well. I mean, those I think are the most important reasons. So I think you're off on a wonderful start.
That's great. Thank you, Miss Patty. Can we hear from some other folks? What about Michael or Alkina's room?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alkina's room, not Michael.
Well, we appointed Miss Deborah Stanley to share back, and we also have notes from Heaven, who somehow is able to follow my nonsense.
Well, in our room was just full of excitement and passion about this project. And so some of it is just this whole notion, as Marilyn has been advocating for years, just bringing fresh produce to this section of the community, and not just produce, but the regrowing of fruit trees. Because those of us who were children here remember going from home to school and passing pear trees, apple trees, peach trees, grapes growing on the vines in the alleys, and just an abundance of all of that. And so to try to restore those things that gave us a sense of community and nurtured us and was good nutrition for us. And the partnerships, the people, the desire for folks to work together. And so having several generations of folks working together, and then how everything will work hand in hand, from the greenhouse and the growing of produce, the peace garden, the performing arts center, all these plans, just again, the excitement of revitalizing this section of community. And so, yes, we're just happy to be a part of, and we just can't wait till it happens. But proud to be helping to make it happen. Yes. And seeing
Thank you so
Maryland's
much.
dream come true. We're gonna get that grocery store too, Maryland.
All right. I got the data.
Thank you so much. And that was and I'm actually going to ask Miss Marilyn to report back on some of the things that we discussed in our room.
Oh my, I didn't take notes, but
Ryan, can you project the notes?
Who took notes?
We have our AmeriCorps volunteer, Ryan.
Is Ryan?
So he should be projecting the notes here in a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay, wonderful. I say ditto along with what has been said so far, because there's so many possibilities. This part of the neighborhood needs a place, and this could be that place. And a place is good for building relationships, for bringing new programs to the neighborhood. It could benefit our health by offering exercise programs that are trending today, like Pilates and yoga and those kind of things that you have to go out to Notre Dame or further west to take part of. But anything that we can do to learn from. Is Ryan coming? We were talking about.
So I wrote down the notes on paper, but yeah, I mean, we talked about that, the potential for year-round access, to the greenhouse. Aaron had even mentioned, the potential for the MLK Center, even serving more healthy produce or, a healthier option, potentially even from the greenhouse or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine also mentioned her organization, which was Dig In.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dig In, we can also, the potential for them holding, these conversations about race and community and using the greenhouse as a venue for that. There's also talks of, the local farmers market. Is there any potential with, collaboration? Maryland, right? You said they were the
right. It's good to see Krista on here because she was one of the founders of the urban farmers market. I'm laughing because it still has her logo, but yeah, bringing that to this particular spot, maybe once a month or however often they would like to come, because we would have the audience for them that we were having trouble finding when it was on a different part of the West Side. So that was something that we thought we could tie into.
Yeah, and then I believe Holly, correct, you mentioned something about the health department too.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I was also talking about the youth through the juvenile center, maybe helping out, just learning a new way to respect the community and to learn something for their own, growing their own food, how to prepare it, and learning a skill to go along with it. There's just so many different ideas that could help. I guess I have a degree in criminal justice, and I dealt with a lot of young juvenile kids that they need something positive. And I think that this would be a very good thing for them.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned your organization also, right?
Yes, yeah. Indiana Health Centers over on Bendix. Last year, I should say they, because I wasn't there yet. They had 2 boxes that were prepared, and they were growing vegetables for the clients that we deal with, because we do deal with mostly low-income individuals, and they don't have a lot. So it was like a trial and error thing. So this would be our 2nd year. And so we've already been trying to explore some of our options and maybe what to do and so on. But this is much bigger than our 2 little boxes. It's a very positive move, for the community, and to let them know that you care. Let them know that you care, and you're willing to do what you can to make sure that
they have the means to eat healthy and it's going to get back on track. So we're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gentry. Also, I wanted to point out Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, can you talk a little bit more about your organization and how you wish to connect with the Greenhouse Project as well? And Ms. Marilyn, I know you're part of the organization as well. I thought it was really interesting.
Absolutely. We are a group of community members, Dig In, and our goal is to bring community members together to have a conversation around a communal meal. We feel that once community members come together over food and breaking bread, that it builds the bonds of trust, it builds the bonds of relationship, it makes individuals able to be vulnerable and to have maybe tough conversations surrounding things inside their neighborhood, be it race, be it problems that we need to turn into issues, and then become a problem-solving group as well. And so we were looking to see if this greenhouse here could accommodate us at some point in time. We think that the fact that there is natural grown food, that community members are the people involved in engaging in creating the food and the processes, could be some of the people sitting at the table having the conversations to make their community a better place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Marilyn, we've been, Dig In has been together for, we say 2 years. I think 2 years, we're going into our third here soon. So we're just finishing a session now, but we are looking to, again, grow community members in the right way as far as being organic in our conversation, being organic with our food, and then again, bringing organic relationships together to build community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow, that's really incredible.
Yeah, that would be an excellent venue for it.
Thank you so much for providing us with some more insight on your organization and what you guys do. So is there any more, do we have any questions in regards to tonight's event? Or any more input or feedback?
Not right now, maybe later after we can process it all.
Okay. I know it's a lot to absorb. It's very heavy.
It is, but it's very interesting.
Hey, Dominique, could you, I don't have the timeline in front of me anymore, but could you remind us what next steps might look like?
Yes, I can actually, Alex, can you put the engagement timeline up for us, please?
Yeah, it might take me just a minute, but I'll pull it up.
But yes, next steps include a design charrette and another listening session. And so we will be, well, basically, like I said earlier, you guys are going to actually hear from us all year long. So in regards to this project. And so there will be a number of ways for you to get involved, to get plugged in, and to continue to provide us with input and feedback as we continue to develop this project. So a lot of things that we heard tonight was the fact that we want that folks want to see some local programming, especially for youth. They want to see some more programming at the MLK Center. They want to see some other types of programming, like even some CSA program, community supported agriculture, that helps to support residents in the neighborhood that might have mobility challenges, things like that. So this has been a really great conversation. And so as you can see, this is our engagement timeline. Currently, this is where we are in regards to engaging you as our community partners. We will have another listening session next month. We'll report out again in April to say, hey, this is what we heard. So we actually have a survey. We're going to follow up with you with an email, these recordings from this particular listening session, and a survey. So if you didn't provide us with your input or your all of your input and feedback, I should say, please provide us with that in regards to the survey that we're going to send out. And also most of you have my contact information. I think maybe all of you have my contact information. So please feel free to reach out to me anytime with any questions that you might have. And thank you, Alex. And so stay engaged and participate and involved. And so we're so excited for all of you that joined us this evening. And we really value and appreciate your input and your feedback, because it will continue to drive the development of this project. So thank you all so very much. So
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you for including us.
Thank you.
Great job, E3. Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Good.
Hey, Dominique,
We'll follow up with you, Mark.
as Deborah Stanley was talking about the pear trees and apple trees and the grapes and all these things, first of all, I didn't realize that used to be that way over there, which is really interesting. So thanks for sharing that, Deborah. It's compelling. And then I start to think how city codes and ordinances develop over time. There's so many zoning and ordinances and rules that actually prohibit some of these things from happening. You know, and you see, and even policies like in the Parks Department that don't allow fruit trees because the guys don't want to mow around the dropping fruit, or, you know, city code doesn't allow any fruit trees on any right of ways because they're afraid it's going to drop on the sidewalks or on people's cars. And so, you know, I can't help but wonder if we need to scrub city codes and ordinances to see where we're prohibiting things that we actually value happening. You know, it just, as you said that, all these things started, why did that change? And somewhere along the way, we might have been our own worst enemy in making some of that stuff change. And so it might be worth looking into that. So
that would be a wonderful project to take on, Aaron, because I can remember not too long ago being in a conversation with people that grew up in the neighborhood, and they were talking about that very thing. You went to Mr. Smith's yard if you wanted a sweet cherry. You went to so-and-so's yard if you wanted, you know, certain taste to the fruit that you were selecting. So it was very common. My grandparents had a couple cherry trees. My neighbors had pear trees. Yeah, it was very common, because the whole idea is that you could share food free with the community, within the community.
At least in some designated areas, Aaron, I think that would be really smart to, like, it, you know, you kind of pick the location where you want that to happen at. It's very much so like what you guys are doing with your roving chicken coop at this time. Is that, you know, you're picking the places. Sorry, I was trying to say it in the best way. I don't got all of the linguistic skills, AP. But what I'm saying is that you pick the location where you want to, like, have these experiences, and then we as a community decide that we want to grow that experience into more locations.
But thank you for that, Aaron. I have so many students, and here's another project for them. Perfect. I'll get them on that right away.
thanks for letting me chime in there, Dominique. I know you're trying to wrap it up, but I just
Oh no, you're okay. Are there any more questions or comments or anything? Now we're at the reminiscing point, I guess.
I sure want to know, Miss Viola, did you have some fruit trees back in your, what was it like? Come on, tell us a little bit now. Like, I'm not touching that unmute button. No matter what that is done, I'm going back home. I'll go get it direct. Don't y'all worry. I'll come back with a story.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. If nobody else has any questions or anything for me, again, please reach out to me directly. You have my contact information. I would be more than happy to answer any questions. And so everybody have a great evening. Stay warm. So.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Great work, E3, y'all.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Mark.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Hi, Dave. Mark, we are you are sending somebody to the session on Sunday night, right? The banking session.
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me of that. Yeah, let me check with one of my bankers.
Okay, you have to now because Tom Grip is also coming. So First Source has got to represent the banks, and Tom can represent the credit unions.
Oh, okay. All right.
You
Okay.
can find somebody, we might actually do a little bit of role playing, in fact, in the sense that like whoever you send could be the banker, and we might
Alright.
walk through a couple of sort of role playing exercises for small developers.
Okay.
Like mock interviews or something like that. So
Okay.
let me know
have
if you have a good person.
Okay. You sent me the information it was about a week or so ago, right?
I did.
That. Yeah.
If you'd like, I can resend it to you. So it's fresh in your
I
inbox.
should have it. I should have it. I apologize. I got
It is okay. You're a busy guy. I'm glad you're here tonight.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you reconnected then and you reminded me of that. So
Yeah, sure thing.
I'll do that right now.